So our first speaker is Dr. Connie Anderson. She's an online community facilitator for the IAN Project, Interactive Autism Network, in the Department of Medical Informatics at Kennedy Krieger Institute. This is in your brochure. Dr. Anderson is going to really introduce IAN, the nation's largest online autism research project. She will discuss how IAN creates a large national data set to match families to local studies for which they qualify. Recent additions to the project include acquiring information from adults and also from grandparents who have children on the autism spectrum. Dr. Anderson will explain how data collected from this project empowers community leaders to advocate for improved services and resources. We often are focused on helping individual children and families, one child and family at a time. This is an opportunity to contribute to a large database that's trying to have policy implications. So anyone who realizes they have issues with eligibility criteria, health insurance, life insurance, anything that could be affected at local, state, and national policy level, I just want to emphasize, and you'll hear about this, how IAN can impact that for you. So it's a very important project, and we're very proud to have these speakers with us today. So Dr. Connie Anderson, please welcome her.
Thank you. Yes, good morning. I want to thank Dr. Donnelly and also Bonnie Gilman for inviting us here to speak with you today. We're very excited to be here to tell you about the IAN Project, and we do hope that you will be inspired to spread the word about it and to participate yourselves if you're eligible. Let me get this queued up for us. Whoops. There we go. Okay. Well, to start with, I'm going to go ahead and show you the obligatory slide there. That I have no financial relationship or interest with any proprietary entity producing healthcare goods or services related to the content of the CME activity. And with that out of the way, we can go on to learn about the Interactive Autism Network. First of all, I wanted to tell you a little bit about who I am. I am IAN's community scientific liaison. So what my job is to translate scientific findings and questions for families and for the lay public, but it's also to go the other way and to bring families' concerns and perspectives and viewpoints and critiques back to scientists and researchers. I'm actually a local girl. I'm actually very happy to be back here in California this morning. I'm a graduate of USC's Sociology and Marriage and Family Therapy program. And while I was a graduate student there, I had my own child diagnosed with Asperger's, both at UCLA and Westside Regional Center. As you can see, that was a little bit ago. He's now 15, and as you can see, his name's Jerry, and he now has a beard and size 15 feet. So what is IAN? IAN is the nation's largest online autism research project. It's located at the Kennedy Krieger Institute in Baltimore, Maryland, and is funded by Autism Speaks, who actually funded its entire inception. And it is now also receiving some funding from the National Institutes of Health, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go. Now, Paul Law, who's going to speak next, is going to tell you more about the personal reasons that IAN began. But in general, the purpose of our project is to address the fact that autism research is just too slow. Many studies are delayed or fail for want of participants. There's a complexity and variability of the autism spectrum. Actually means that we need more data from more people, not less. So not having enough people is a very crucial problem. And there's a history of mistrust and miscommunication between researchers and families, which of course has a very negative impact on getting people to participate in research. That goes all the way back to the refrigerator mother theory of autism, to when some of the major advocacy organizations like the Autism Society of America were born fighting against that, which has left, a different strain in the relationship between families and researchers that now is kind of holding things up. So our goals as a project are to accelerate autism research, to make it go faster in as many directions at once as we can in the most efficient way possible. We want to engage families as partners in the research process and to share knowledge as it is gained. Sharing knowledge as it is gained is actually part of being partners. So you will see there's many ways that we try to give back some results from our studies right away to the community. Now, to undertake this whole project, we created two complementary websites. One's called Ian Research and one's called Ian Community. And I'm going to start by talking about research. You'll find out here in the Ian world, purple is always research and orange is always community. That's kind of the color coding here. So what is Ian Research? It is an autism-focused online research study. Dr. Paul Law, who's going to speak to you next, is its director and its principal investigator. It's a project that people can sign up for online and they can participate in online. The wonderful thing about that is that not only families who live near a clinic or some major urban center can participate in this project, but families from everywhere from Hawaii, Puerto Rico, or anywhere rural, anywhere can participate. And they can do it from anywhere they can get an internet connection. You register online, and remember this website, www.ianresearch.org. Okay? As a family goes on and consents to be part of this study, they next create a family profile. And that's just like a family tree, kind of a list of the people that are in your family. And this one is mine. I am also a participant in Ian, as well as on the Ian team. What this looks like, it's real simple. You just have the mom or whoever signed up, and then children with ASD, SIBs, and the spouse can be invited as well. Your spouse or partner can be invited to take part in the project. So families go online and answer online questionnaires on a variety of topics. It's just simple, like any online survey. They're answering multiple choice questions, but there's something else we've built in to Ian, and that is the capability to leave comments about the questions. So families can tell us both that they have a very emotional response to the question. They can tell us they think the question is stupid, that we should have asked it differently. They can say, I don't think you're getting at what's really important here. They can tell us the whole story about something in their life that is impacted by that same topic of the question. It's really important not just for the family to have a voice, but it's important for us as researchers too, because sometimes what percent of people answered maybe or slightly to a multiple choice question isn't as rich as being able to look behind that number and see what is really behind it, the why, not the what, but the why. Why do people feel that way? And that's what families are able to give us through these comments. Now, when you participate in Ian, it's not just a one-time deal that you just answer a survey and you're done. We're continually developing new surveys on new topics. And so it's a continuing partnership and something that people can participate in and feel they're a part of over time. For example, right now we have a pregnancy and birth questionnaire in development, and it's going to ask questions about all kinds of topics, everything from in vitro fertilization to induced labor to what medications people are taking during pregnancy. And when we get that data in, researchers interested in a variety of topics related to those things will be able to use the Ian data to explore those. The basic questionnaires you find when you go on there are about child's ASD diagnosis, about their developmental history, their co-occurring conditions. We're asking about seizures, we're asking about ADHD, we're asking about school placements. For example, how much of a day is each child spending in special ed versus regular ed? Are they in a private school setting or a public school setting? Do they have an aide, for example? We're also taking key research measures, the same kinds of questionnaires that you would probably be filling out if you were part of a research study in a clinic that are measuring, how much social autistic impairment a child has, as that's what the SRS is, the Social Responsiveness Scale. It's used commonly in autism research. And the SEQ is an autism screener. It's the Social Communication Questionnaire. And a certain score tells you this kid likely has autism. And that helps us, along with other researchers, show that someone we're told has autism by a parent online likely does. It's a way for us to validate the data that we're getting. There aren't questionnaires just for children with autism, however. There are also questionnaires for mom and dad about their own educational history, things like if they had a language delay, if they ever had special ed, their own medical history. We also have a whole set of questionnaires for the unaffected siblings and how they're doing, and questionnaires on issues like family stress, impact on the family from what's going on with the child with ASD and all the things the family has to cope with. More than 34,000 individuals are participating in EN at the moment, and that includes children with ASD, moms, dads, siblings. We have just recently added adults, so we have both independent adults who are able to consent to be in research for themselves signing up. We also have guardians of adults, guardians of dependent adults, who are able to sign up with EN and take their own guardian version survey. And thanks to Bonnie Gilman, we were recently able to also offer a survey for grandparents, which has had a huge response, and we're definitely going to talk about that a little bit later. So as we have these families all over the country are answering these surveys, they're leaving their comments for us, it's like, what happens to all of that? Well, the first thing that happens is it's flowing into a vast collection of family-provided data. Instead of having a whole lot of researchers running around trying to find 50 people to answer a little survey and only they ever see the results of that little survey, it's asking thousands and keeping it in one giant pot where many researchers can access the data. They can apply to look at certain questions in EN and to explore it that way. It's much more efficient, clearly. Another service that we provide, and the autism research community has been very glad to take advantage of, is we're matching eligible families with local research studies, the face-to-face and clinic research studies. Remember, as I was saying earlier, there's a big delay. A lot of times researchers really struggle to find participants who match what they wanted to look at, who are near them. Well, what we're doing now is playing a matchmaker role. Now, the researcher might say to us, I really want to find 60 kids with ASD, could be boys or girls. I don't mind if it's Asperger's or Ph.D. NOS. They need to live within 100 miles of this university, and I'd like them to be between the ages of 8 and 15. And what we can do is turn around and tell all our families who meet that description about the study. We do not share any of the family's information with the researchers. We just share the researchers' information with the families. It's up to them if they'd like to then contact them. Now, luckily, they are contacting them, and there's been a lot of success with helping researchers get people and helping people find studies that they can contribute to and be part of.